Greetings at Cheating Story Lab. At 8:47 p.m., 17 minutes prior to the arrival of my birthday cake, the DJ unexpectedly passed the microphone to my wife. I recall glancing at my watch as timing turned out to be significant later on. She wasn't scheduled to give a toast, and we hadn't planned any speeches. Yet there she was, illuminated under the twinkling string lights in our backyard, tapping the mic twice as all 73 guests turned toward her. "I have an announcement," Cassandra spoke, her voice clear through the speakers. Given the hour, I thought it fitting to share something significant with everyone here. My brother Greg was still chuckling over his own joke. My mother had her phone ready to record what she believed would be a heartfelt birthday message. Trevor, my business partner, stood near the bar with Lydia. All smiled and waited in anticipation. Dominic and I are separating. The ensuing quietness was more of a pause, as the music continued playing softly, an unfamiliar indie folk tune filling the air. 73 individuals simultaneously ceased breathing, leaving an unusual silence. My mother's phone remained aloft, still capturing. Cassandra continued, "Despite my efforts to sustain this union for a year, there are certain issues that cannot be mended. I believe it is only fair to inform you all tonight as you have been part of our tale and deserve truthfulness. I will be moving out by the weekend." She put down the microphone. A glass shattered unexpectedly. My college roommate Felix scrutinized me, anticipating an explanation. I remained motionless, clutching a beer bottle whose opening I couldn't recall, watching my wife of 12 years systematically disassemble our life in front of my entire social gathering. Trevor caught my gaze from across the lawn. He subtly shook his head, the universal signal for a difficult situation. His wife touched his arm, expressing concern and support. They had always been supportive friends to us, or so I thought Cassandra had felt about them. I hadn't realized that only I was aware among everyone at the party, that for the preceding 3 weeks I had been residing in a unique form of torment, a reality that I discovered to be fabricated, while I continued to feign ignorance and record everything meticulously. It began with a phone call from my accountant Ruth, on a Thursday afternoon, not through the office line, but my personal cell. That should have been the first sign. "Dominic," she said, skipping any formalities or pleasantries, "I require you to examine something without Cassandra present." For 8 years, Ruth had managed our taxes. She was never wasteful with her words. "What's wrong?" She informed me of unusual transactions in our joint checking account, transfers to an account I wasn't familiar with, amounting to $47,000 over the past 11 months. I stood in a hardware store parking lot, holding paint samples for Cassandra's requested bathroom remodel, under the bright sun. Individuals were moving timber into vehicles. The atmosphere was strikingly ordinary, yet it struck me as incongruous. I'm forwarding the details to you now. The transactions are coded as payments to a company named Meridian Solutions, LLC. Does this name hold any significance for you? It didn't. Pulling up my email on my phone in the parking lot, Ruth's message arrived with 6 PDF attachments. I opened the first one, revealing March with $4,200 going to Meridian Solutions, LLC, April with $3,800 to the same entity, and so on through May with $4,500. The amounts fluctuated but were consistent in their monthly occurrence, always on the 15th. These transactions varied between $3,000 and $5,000. I hadn't authorized any of these payments. That was my assumption, but Ruth informed me that the account has dual signature authority, allowing Cassandra to initiate these transactions herself. I'm not casting blame, but you need to uncover what this is about. Sitting in my vehicle, I scrutinized all 6 statements, totaling $47,000, nearly $4,000 per month. Slipping into an unfamiliar company, one that was unknown to us, we weren't affluent individuals. I managed a modest architectural firm, while Cassandra worked part-time at an art gallery. We lived comfortably but not extravagantly. $47,000 represented a year's savings for our daughter's college fund, or the down payment we had been accumulating for a larger house. I dialed the number listed for Meridian Solutions, LLC. The line was disconnected. Upon investigating in the business registry, the LLC existed, registered in Delaware 8 months prior. The registered agent was a corporation specialized in creating anonymous companies anonymously. This led me to a dead end that night, and I chose not to question Cassandra. Instead, I waited until she fell asleep before delving into her laptop in our home office. She wasn't careful with passwords, something we had always trusted each other about. Her email was accessible. I searched for Meridian. 53 results emerged. The first email dated back 11 months with the subject line "Account Setup Confirmed." The contents were concise. Your monthly deposit arrangement is now active. Funds will be transferred as agreed. In my life, there was an individual whose name began with T, that person being Trevor, my longtime business partner for 7 years, with whom I co-founded our firm when we were both 29 and naive enough to challenge established architecture companies. Together, we weathered the 2008 economic downturn. We served as each other's best men at our weddings. Our daughters played soccer together in the same league. As I scanned through the emails, most were transactional: deposit confirmed, transfer processed. However, 3 messages caught my attention. One from 6 months back: I can't continue if Lydia discovers. We need to be more cunning. Cassandra responded, she won't and Dom will not stop worrying. Another dated 4 months ago: when are you planning to inform him? We agreed by summer. Cassandra, I'll manage the disclosure timing. Trust me. And lastly, from just 2 weeks ago, the event is flawless. It's public, with many witnesses. He won't create a scene. I went over the last message 4 times, then reread the entire email thread. Afterward, I opened a whiskey bottle and stayed in my dimly lit office until 3 a.m., comprehending the impending events. They were plotting to embarrass me, in public, at my own birthday party. Cassandra would declare our divorce in front of everyone we knew, making me appear caught off guard and pitiful. Trevor would feign being supportive. Meanwhile, I'd be the man whose wife walked out so abruptly that she couldn't even wait until after the cake to do it. It took 2 more days to sort out the financial aspect. I enlisted a private investigator, a woman named Simone, who was recommended by a lawyer I had worked with on commercial projects. She was costly but meticulous. Within 48 hours, she provided answers. Meridian Solutions, LLC was just a front company Trevor had established. The money Cassandra was transferring wasn't for business purposes. Instead, it was going into an account that Trevor managed personally. They were covertly using matrimonial resources to finance their illicit relationship. Hotels, excursions, an urban condo rented by Trevor under the LLC's name were among the assets they diverted. Simone provided me with bank statements detailing each transaction. She also gave me images of Cassandra and Trevor entering that condo on 6 distinct occasions. Furthermore, she presented phone records showing 847 messages exchanged between them over the past year. Lastly, she gave me a recording. After hours, Trevor made a call from his office, which I'd assisted in designing as a favor to the property owner. The building's surveillance system included audio in common areas. Simone managed to access these recordings through a connection. Though technically questionable, it could be utilized advantageously. The recording lasted 4 minutes. In the conversation, Trevor and Cassandra discussed a gathering where they planned to embarrass me. Cassandra sounded cheerful and excited. She was certain he wouldn't, and she questioned if he suspected anything beforehand. Trevor inquired from Dominic. No, he has full faith in me. That's always been his predicament. He's excessively kind-hearted, overly compliant. He won't foresee this twist. They chuckled, both of them. The laughter caused my hands to tremble so intensely I had to halt the playback. Trevor persisted with his questions. Are you certain about the legal tactic? Your attorney believes the alienation approach will succeed, she's assured. Once I demonstrate that he has been emotionally detached and unsupportive, the judge will be lenient. I will gain the house, primary custody of Emily, and at least 60% of the business assets. You will purchase his share at a low estimation, securing our future. There were further discussions about their scheme to undervalue the firm, making it seem like I had been a negligent partner, thereby painting me as a workaholic who destroyed our marriage through neglect. They had been devising this strategy for months, every step meticulously planned. I consulted with 2 lawyers. The first suggested an immediate scorched earth approach: file for divorce to seize assets, expose everything. The second attorney, a divorce specialist named Harrison Burke, suggested another approach. Let her proceed, he advised. She's hiding marital assets by not disclosing them, and if you intervene now, she might claim it's for valid expenses, dragging out the discovery process for months. However, if you allow her to announce her actions first, act immediately afterward, presenting all evidence at once, embezzlement, infidelity, and plans to defraud, she won't be able to create a counter-narrative. This way we can prove financial misconduct, adultery, and attempted theft of business assets. Aren't you willing to let her embarrass me for 90 seconds? I replied. In return, I will humiliate her in court for the next 2 years. You decide on the long game. On the night of my 40th birthday, when Cassandra took the microphone, I was already aware of every word she was about to utter. I had rehearsed my response 17 times in front of a mirror. Coordinated with Harrison, he was holding pre-prepared divorce documents nearby. I had cautioned my mother and sibling about potential events at the gathering without revealing details. Evidence for everything was saved on a tablet sitting on the DJ's equipment table, ready to play. After Cassandra finished her speech, she returned the microphone to the DJ. She looked at me, anticipating a reaction, a devastation I was supposed to show. Trevor was visible in my periphery, following his script. Friend in concern, partner in support. Approaching the DJ booth, I grabbed the microphone before Trevor could put it away. In fact, I said audibly across the yard, as we're making announcements tonight, I have one too. Cassandra's expression shifted, not yet panic but confusion. This wasn't part of the plan. Grabbing the tablet, I linked it to the sound system, a connection I had set up with the DJ 3 days prior. The gaze of 73 people fell upon me. My daughter Emily was indoors watching a film with relatives. I had ensured this. She wasn't supposed to witness this ordeal. 3 weeks back, I uncovered that my wife has been involved in an affair with my business associate, Trevor. A tense quietness filled the room again, but this time it was more acute and accusatory. Trevor approached me and queried, "Dom, who are you?" The discrepancies in our joint account had been traced to a shell company named by Trevor. Over an 11-month period, approximately $47,000 had been transferred funds meant for Emily's education. I displayed the first piece of evidence on my tablet, the bank statements, which were being shown on the TV we had set up to display old birthday pictures. The transaction details and dates were visible to everyone present. Cassandra broke her silence. The money wasn't just for illegitimate expenses, it was for business consulting, Marital added. Solutions LLC is not a consulting firm, I replied. It's a shell company Trevor registered in Delaware. The funds were transferred to a personal account, which he utilized for renting an urban condo, as evident from the pictures over the past 6 months. These images displayed the facade of a lavish city building, the location visible, along with Cassandra and Trevor entering and exiting the building, occasionally together. One photograph depicted Trevor touching Cassandra's lower back, while another showed them kissing in the parking garage. My mother uttered an emotional sound, part gasp, part sob. Greg moved closer to me, offering silent support. Lydia, Trevor's wife, stood frozen near the bar, her complexion turning completely pale. "You hired someone to monitor my activities," Cassandra's voice escalated in pitch. "That's illegal. I clarified that the investigator adhered to legal restrictions. The intriguing aspect is not everything here, but rather the recording," I added. Trevor headed towards the DJ booth. "Shut it off." "This isn't. It's a recording of our conversation from 2 weeks ago," I stated. Tonight, they were strategizing on how to embarrass me publicly in front of everyone I am acquainted with. Cassandra's voice played distinctly over the speakers. "He'll look like such a fool when he realizes what I've said," followed by Trevor's question. "Are you sure he won't catch on beforehand?" Their laughter echoed as I observed my wife's complexion fade. Trevor ceased moving, his hands falling to his sides. The recording disclosed their deliberations regarding legal tactics for undervaluing the business and taking everything from me. When it concluded, a hush fell over the crowd of 73 individuals gathered in our backyard. Felix broke the silence, exclaiming, "Jesus Christ, Trevor!" Lydia approached her husband, remaining calm. She simply looked at him before ordering, "I want you out of the house tonight," and departed, exiting through the side gate to her car. The engine roared to life. Headlights illuminated the fence as my mother advanced towards Cassandra, a woman who had been part of our family, helped organize our wedding, and witnessed Emily's birth. "You must depart," Mom stated softly, decisively. Cassandra scanned the surroundings for support, someone who might believe her side of the story, but found none. People avoided her gaze. My sister Meredith stood near the house, arms crossed, even she looked contemptuous. "This isn't what it seems," Cassandra protested. "He's deceiving me. I have 94 pages of proof," I declared. "Bank records, phone logs, emails, photographs, video recordings, and witness testimonies. My lawyer has already filed for divorce. You'll receive official papers on Monday, but I thought you should know now, during my birthday celebration when everyone is gathered." In a chilling echo, I had just enacted upon her the same scheme she had intended for me. Except for my version, it brought proof, honesty, a public disclosure that couldn't be twisted or rationalized. Trevor found the right words at last. "We could discuss this matter. Perhaps we could find a solution in business terms, but you have committed fraud," I asserted. "You established a dummy corporation to pilfer marital assets and used company resources to hide your infidelity. My legal team has already filed a separate civil suit against you for breach of fiduciary duty. A police report for embezzlement will be submitted on Monday morning." The word police caught in his throat. "You can't. We are partners. We built this together. However, our partnership is now over past tense, I explained. I am buying you out at the valuation specified for termination due to wrongdoing as per our operating agreement. This will yield approximately 38 cents on every dollar as calculated by my accountant, and it's all within legal bounds. Tears of anger now streaked down Cassandra's face. Tears that occur when a carefully laid plan completely unravels. Her essential belongings can be collected. Over the weekend, I mentioned taking household items, and my lawyer will manage logistics. All other issues are court matters. She murmured, calling him a manipulator. I interjected, revealing a 6-month-old email from him to Trevor on my tablet subject, when we're together. Do you want me to read it aloud or let everyone see that you plan to leave me before our anniversary? She remained silent, snatched her purse off the patio table, and fled. I heard her car tires screeching on asphalt, then quieted. Trevor glanced at the remaining guests, at my vacant seat near the bar, and at me. I'm sorry, he said insincerely. You're not sorry for what you did, but for being found out. There's a distinction. He left through the side gate. I heard his car door engine roar, then silence. 71 individuals lingered in my backyard, signaling the end of the gathering, yet no one seemed to budge. Eventually, Greg approached and snatched the microphone from my grasp, announcing, "All right," followed by an explanation. Dominic is going indoors to unwind, while the rest of you can partake in cake if desired or depart, however. We won't engage in a sentimental goodbye since this remains Dominic's birthday. Felix initiated applause, initially slow, then accelerating, with others soon following suit. Within moments, approximately 50 individuals were applauding in my backyard, not for an address or a toast, but as a tribute to the deconstruction of 2 individuals who sought to undermine me. My mother embraced me, my brother patted my shoulder. Acquaintances I hadn't interacted with in months approached to express support, disbelief, or ask for assistance. I retreated indoors, seated myself in the kitchen while Greg handled the crowd outside, listening to car doors, engines, farewells, as the party dissipated within 20 minutes. 10:15 p.m., Emily descended the stairs. The movie concluded, her expression puzzled. Where's Mom? She needed to depart immediately. Darling, let's discuss it tomorrow. Is everything all right? I wished to disclose the truth, to clarify that her mother had deceived us. Our family was on the verge of irreversible alterations, but she was 13, engrossed in a dragon movie. Tomorrow was close at hand. Everything will be fine, I assured her. I promise. She embraced me and ascended once more. Greg arrived from the backyard. Everyone's departed. Felix assisted with the cleanup. The DJ gathered his belongings and asserted there was no fee. Tell him I'll pay regardless. He refused, having experienced a similar incident from his ex-spouse. He stated that I deserved the complimentary service. We occupied chairs around the kitchen table. The house loomed large and vacant. Did you truly gather so much proof? Greg inquired. A trove spanning 3 weeks, I'd anticipated her scheme. Only endurance was required. Witnessing each feigned grin, each staged dialogue must have been excruciating. It was. Recognizing every smile as insincere, every discussion as scripted. Observing her packing for the gathering, rehearsing her revelation in the bathroom mirror, texting Trevor to finalize timing, all this under the guise of ignorance. Worthwhile nevertheless, I conceded. She aimed to embarrass me, sought public validation as a dissatisfied spouse. Now the truth is out in the open. Harrison phoned at 10:47 p.m., precisely on schedule according to plan. You coping all right? I'm managing what lies ahead. She'll challenge every piece of evidence, though it's solid. She's likely to resist, anticipate depositions, forensic accounting, mediation efforts. This process won't be swift. It might take anywhere from 8 months to a year if she cooperates, or stretch up to 18 months if she prolongs it. But we should ultimately prevail. The fraud alone will dismantle her case for asset division. The affair and conspiracy merely facilitate it. As for Trevor, there's a connection in the DA's office. Embezzlement of $47,000 from a business partner is sufficient for prosecution. He may plead guilty to avoid trial, but faces probation, restitution, and a felony record. His architecture license could be suspended. At least he'll be professionally ruined. Good riddance. We ended the call. I remained in the silent kitchen. The string lights in the backyard continued to sway with the wind. The DJ's speakers lay stacked near the fence. A half-empty bottle of wine was left on the counter. My marriage disintegrated. My business alliance crumbled. My daughter was destined to grow up in a divided home. All that I had constructed for 12 years fell apart in one night. Yet it happened under my own command, with proof, with witnesses, and with control. The following morning, Emily found me in the study. I hadn't slept a wink. engrossed in reviewing essential financial documents. Harrison asked about our absence. Dad and Mom didn't come home last night. This was the discussion I had been postponing. I sat her down to explain, as straightforwardly as possible. My spouse had made decisions that harmed our family. We were ending our marriage. She would be residing elsewhere soon. Emily sobbed, bombarding me with questions I couldn't fully answer. She sought clarification regarding her role in the situation. I confessed the reality. Adults bear responsibility for their choices, and children never shoulder blame for mistakes. Emily wanted to know if she could still visit. I assured her that we would establish a plan. She remains your mother, but our relationship will no longer be what it once was. My dear, we aren't. She clung to me for quite some time. When she finally let go, she looked at me with a mixture of confusion but resilience. A 13-year-old girl grappling with the conclusion of her parents' union. Are you all right, Dad? The question caught me off guard. I contemplated it, genuinely pondered about it. I assured her I will be. It just requires time and I'll be all right. She nodded in agreement. I too will be. The legal proceedings stretched over 14 months. Cassandra retained a costly lawyer who employed every strategy, asserting the financial transfers were for legitimate business purposes, contending the recording was obtained unlawfully, making attempts to portray me as a domineering spouse who had driven her away. However, none of it proved successful. The forensic accountant Harrison hired meticulously tracked each dollar. Meridian Solutions, LLC demonstrated no genuine business activity. The funds were directly transferred from our account to Trevor's personal account to cover hotel bills, dining expenses, gifts, and rent on the condo. Trevor confessed to embezzlement in month 7 and served 3 years of probation, returned $47,000 in restitution, suffered a permanent criminal record that ended his architecture career, resulting in divorce by his wife and estrangement from his daughter. After the divorce was finalized in month 14, Cassandra received 30% of marital assets, the minimum our state allows. I got the house, primary custody of Emily, and full ownership of the firm. She got supervised visitation until Emily turned 18, at which point she could decide their relationship herself. My business survived, underwent a rebranding, took on a new partner, a woman named Kira who previously worked at a competing firm unrelated to the prior predicament. We're thriving better than before. Emily has adapted and sees her mother every other weekend with a strained relationship. She is aware of her mother's actions, though not all details. She's matured enough to form independent opinions, while for myself I sold the house 2 years following the divorce. Too many recollections haunted me. Instead, I opted for a smaller abode near Emily's school. I dabbled in dating casually, but nothing substantial materialized, as trust requires time to be rebuilt, even with individuals who have done no wrong. Occasionally, people recognize me around town. You're the one known for organizing birthday parties. My tale became a local legend. The man who transformed his own shame into his wife's downfall. I'm not fond of the spotlight, but I don't evade it either. What I acquired from this experience, patience is the most destructive form of revenge. Cassandra aimed to wound me in 90 seconds. I retaliated against her for 14 months. She sought to strip me bare in front of 73 people. I dispossessed her with a judge, backed by evidence and legalities. Would I repeat this? Without a doubt. When attempting to ruin your existence, you have 2 paths: crumble or rebuild from the ruins stronger. I opted for construction. It's my choice. That birthday celebration was intended to be my darkest hour, yet it transformed into the moment I reclaimed my life. The same microphone, a different finale, and perhaps Cassandra is still grappling with how utterly she lost. However, you'll never fathom the pivotal aspect. One cannot swindle someone who's always 3 steps ahead. One cannot embarrass someone holding all the cards. She declared our divorce at my birthday. I unveiled her life's undoing. We may seem even, but that would be a falsehood. I'm a decade beyond, and she's yet to catch up to the repercussions.